All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Chris Palmer. I'm the Senior Manager of Advanced Technology Services for PCL Construction.
And hi, I'm Blaine Stearns, so I'm the Solution Architect Lead for PCL Construction.
And today we're, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Last day of Ignite, been a long week, and imagine, hopefully, most everybody got out to Universal Studios last night, had a good time. I know we certainly did. And with that, you know, I wanted to kind of get started, and we're going to share our story and some of the lessons that we've learned through our journey to implementing Microsoft Azure and Microsoft Office 365 over the last 5 years at PCL. So just a brief introduction of who we are. Some of you guys may have heard our name, but I'm willing to bet a lot of you guys haven't. PCL Construction is a group of 100% employee-owned construction companies operating in civil infrastructure, heavy industrial, and buildings across the United States, Canada, the Caribbean, and Australia in 31 major centers. We are the largest construction company in Canada, the 7th largest in the United States, but what's interesting, and I think applicable for really anybody that's in this room, is we span the spectrum that kind of aligns for challenges that smaller IT shops deal with as well as larger enterprises. And that's because we do have 31 different companies, or 31 different areas, so and a multitude of different companies. And so we need to be able to support the differing technology operations at each of these different geographic locations. We have the shadow IT that comes with it. We have a lot of the various challenges from supporting smaller sites all the way up to full-scale enterprise deployments. Our journey, though, actually started in 2013, and so the real question for us is, or for you guys, is what's our credentials? What gives us, you know, the opportunity to be here to talk to you, but why should you listen to what we're going to say? And it started really back in 2013. PCL's always been a technology, a company that's invested in technology. We've been at the leading edge, but in 2013, we were still very much traditional IT. So we had just built a new building on our North American campus in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Anybody who knows where Edmonton is knows that that is not necessarily the ideal location to be servicing a North American audience when it comes to IT services, but nonetheless, we had a world-class data center. Very traditional, all on-premise. We had no Office 365. We had no Azure. We weren't opposed to the cloud. We did have some niche cloud services, you know, backup for our job sites and ticketing solution for our support desk, but it wasn't a strategic direction. 2013, that all changed, though, recognizing that the landscape within construction was changing. But really, this is true for any industry. You know, technology adoption is really driving change in most industries, and it's making the pace of change go faster. We introduced and hired our very first CIO. So for the first time, technology now had a seat at the executive table. And from there, we really accelerated our journey, if you will, into the cloud. And to give you a background of what we've done with Microsoft in particular, I don't even have enough time to really talk about all the things that we've actually done, but it's everything from productivity. So Office 365, you know, started with Exchange Online, migrated Exchange into Office 365, along with all of our email archiving, our e-discovery, and everything related to it. Migrated Skype for Business to Skype for Business Online, standardized on voice through Office 365, so the entire PCL US is implemented on Skype for Business Voice. Canada's being implemented right now. It just went GA in May. Migrated half of our SharePoint workloads to SharePoint Online, implemented Teams, implemented Yammer, implemented Power BI. If there's a service in Office 365, we're probably using it. Where the better part of our lessons learned came from, though, was from a challenge that came down from our CIO in 2015. So we'd had some early success with SaaS services in Office 365. We had migrated and lift and shifted some complex Oracle workloads in the IaaS world. We'd begun development, which Blaine's going to talk about, in Azure on the PaaS services. And our CIO challenged us and said, let's empty the data center. And of course, heads exploded and minds melted, because then he said, let's do it in 2 years. And at the time, Azure and Microsoft's technology stack wasn't nearly as mature as it is today, but it's with the benefit of hindsight that I can say we accomplished that. We did it in less than 2 years. We reduced our on-premise server count by 90%. We reduced our actually eliminated our on-premise operational spend by $2.5 million a year. Along with it, we had to change the way we delivered our services, right? We weren't delivering out of Edmonton now. We now have the advantage of Azure, multiple data centers, multiple regions, and so we needed to get our customers closer to that. So we eliminated MPLS across our North American networks. We went to SD-WAN. We introduced local internet feeds, all with the desire of getting better performance. We drew a line in the sand very early, and again, this is something that Blaine is going to talk about. We stopped developing on-premise solutions. We started developing our solutions on the Azure platform, making them cloud ready. We took our development environment, which was using VSTS on-premise, migrated it to, at the time, Visual Studio Online, now Azure DevOps, built automated release and build pipelines and approval pipelines. Our core business applications on the construction management side for the last 20 years have been built in-house and custom developed. They are being migrated and implemented on a new platform we call PM4+, based off Microsoft Dynamics 365. So going from pure on-premise, local access, and access-based back-ended applications to a cloud-based product. And finally, IoT and analytics, so emerging technologies. We implemented and created teams around analytics and data and big data. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But now all of this work has actually enabled us to be able to tackle emerging trends within our industry. So IoT as an example and Azure AI are big components of our Job Site Insights platform, which is designed to deliver smart construction at the face of construction. Our lessons learned, so the bulk of our content here is going to focus around these 4 areas: people, process, technology, and operations. And spoiler alert, as much as moving to the cloud and moving to Azure is absolutely a technology initiative and a technology project, most of the lessons that we learned are less technology focused and more about the people and the processes that we needed to change in order to be successful. The barrier for entry, especially from when we started 5 years ago to today on the technology side, has drastically reduced. It is far easier to implement cloud-based solutions and to move and lift and shift your solutions to Microsoft Azure than they ever have been. Your biggest barrier and your biggest gap is going to be engaging your people and having them change the way they work. So there's 2 components on the people side that's important, and I don't want to overstate that you're not going to get anywhere moving to Azure unless you have the buy-in of your senior executives and your leadership team. And for us, I don't think we were any different than any other company. The very first thing they're most concerned with was security and the risk. Are we going to be doing something and introducing and changing how we operate in a secure fashion and make sure we're not introducing risks to the company? This is a slide actually from 2015 and is a reproduction of a previous slide from very early in our journey. And I don't put a picture of me up here because I'm vain. I do this because we actually did this with our executive. We put up a picture and said, this is the face of our security. So the Advanced Technology Services team, also responsible for cybersecurity, we said, here's what we have. On this screen, we also have all of the official compliance and security designations that PCL has. None. Now, that does not mean that we don't have competent and dedicated cybersecurity professionals or that we couldn't have gotten those compliance certifications, but the simple reality is that even as a $6 billion company, we cannot compete with this. We cannot compete with the economy of scale that Microsoft could deliver. And in 2015, this is from one of Microsoft's presentations showing their progression with respect to compliance certification. And today, I tried to grab a picture for this slide, but I couldn't make it fit so it was legible because Microsoft has over 75 compliance and security certifications. Even at a company our size, we do not have the economy of scale that Microsoft can provide from a security perspective. And if you build your solutions for the cloud and build them according to best practices, you will get these security benefits inherently brought to the table. The second one was also cost. Every executive wants to make sure that you're not going to be increasing cost needlessly, and we're going to talk about cost throughout our presentation. The simple reality is that we made a commitment that we would do it at a cost neutral, and again, with the benefit of hindsight, I can say we did. In fact, we saved money. The last thing, and you're going to hear about it later, is we had to say why. Why are we moving to Azure? They had to, and the answer is actually right here in Tiffany's hand. We moved to Azure and we moved to the cloud because we needed to deliver our solutions faster. We needed to be more cost effective. We needed to be more agile. And every single one of our executives had that experience in their personal life because they had a smartphone and they had an iPad and they already knew what that looked like. They had apps that got regularly updated with new features and capabilities. They were able, in their personal life, to access solutions wherever they were, whenever they were, on any device. And the challenge that we gave to them is said, why can't we do this at work? Why cannot we do this here? And in order to do that, we have to move to the cloud. We have to change the way we do our systems. Now, it turned out that getting the executive buy-in was actually the easy part. We weren't expecting that. The lesson that I would say we learned from that, though, was paint a picture. Everybody becomes a lawyer when it comes to moving to the cloud. Everybody has a reason that you have to be worried. Try to cut through that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Paint a picture about what you're going to do. And then from that, use that for your larger IT team. And so inspire a shared vision became a really important part. And for us, it was in the foundation, or in the form, I guess, of our BT strategy, our business technology strategy. There were 4 cornerstone pillars. They were cloud, as an opportunity for us to be more agile, deliver solutions quicker, be more cost effective, be mobile, again, be able to access those services anywhere, anytime, on any device. Integrations, recognize that there is no one single platform. I know Microsoft has a pretty broad one, but every business has line of business applications. Every business has custom things. But make sure that you can move data between them in a standardized fashion, that it's plug and play. What we're really talking about here is eventually moving to API management, for example. And lastly, successful companies are making data-driven decisions. And so you need to focus on data and analytics. And so all of our solutions had to make sure that we had an ability to access that data and pull it out. Lastly, these 4 pillars were about driving the work face of construction. And so this strategy gave us an anchor for everybody that was in IT and in business technology to say, was the solution they were working on aligning to the strategy? And it was very simple. Was it cloud? Was it mobile? Did it have analytics? Did it have a common integration interface? If our projects and initiatives did not align to one of these 4 pillars, we canceled them. We canceled them, or we changed them, or we redesigned them. Because if you don't make those changes and you don't make it real, you won't make any progress. Now, this really comes down to the most important lesson that we learned, and it's the hardest because it's people. Moving to the cloud and changing your business and adopting a cloud-first, Azure-based technology or mindset is about changing the way people work. And because it's about people, you have to recognize that this change curve, which anybody who's taken any sort of change management has probably seen in one form or another, applies to everybody because we are all humans. To make this change curve real, what this shows is productivity or happiness versus time. And for example, let's talk about changing your coffee machine at your office. So maybe you have an old school coffee machine that makes bitter coffee, and one day your company decides to change it out with a new fancy machine, touch screen, multiple sizes, coffee. It can do latte, mochaccino, hot chocolate, you name it. This is awesome. And so this is a change, though. And it's a change that sounds great, right? Like, man, we're going to look at this great stuff we're bringing to our staff. And initially, you might have a little peak in excitement. Look at all the new options we have. This is amazing. But the very first time you go to that coffee machine, you stand there for 3-4 minutes trying to figure out the touch screen. What do you want? What size are you supposed to pick? You've actually taken more time at the coffee machine than you had before. You've become less productive. This happens with every change. And it is absolutely going to happen when you begin migrating and implementing Azure and changing the way you work. Now, with that coffee machine, eventually you figure it out. It's pretty simple. Next thing you know, it takes you just as much time, or as little time, I suppose, to grab a coffee as it did before. You return to your productivity levels and your happiness that you were before. But now you have the option to say, I want a hot chocolate in the morning and a coffee as a pick-me-up in the afternoon. You've actually got a better place. It's a solution that ended up with higher productivity. Now, the best thing that you can recognize is that your best asset are your people. And the amazing thing is IT professionals, humans might not be great at change, but IT professionals are better than the average bear. Because if they didn't like change, they would be a plumber. They would not be in this industry. And so you need to engage your people, you need to empower them, and in doing so, if you're successful, you will flatten this curve. You will decrease the impact of the change and get to a higher productivity faster. There are 3 areas that we found did this the most, and we learned some of these the hard way. The very first one is to answer the very personal question that people are going to have, which is, what about me? What about my job? When we moved to Azure, we changed technology stacks, but it also changed the jobs people had. Jobs were eliminated. Not people, but jobs. And people will have a very visceral and very personal reaction to this because you are changing the way they work. This is their livelihood and how they make their money. So I remember having an individual come into my office who was migrating SQL workloads and asked me, am I working myself out of a job? When we're finished this migration, am I going to continue working here? Now the answer was yes. But the reality is that we were going to change what people were going to be doing. Now there might be some individuals that won't like that, and that's going to happen. But the reality is that by going to the cloud and by going to Azure, we were able to focus and change people to begin working on projects with more business value. No more back of the house and keeping the lights on. Best example I have of that is the gentleman who helped build our data center facility and operate it. We don't have a need for a full-time data center guy. Our entire production workload now runs in a half rack when we previously had an entire data center. He's now my analytics and BI guy and managing most of our major business-facing projects. As a stereotype, or I'm going to stereotype, but IT professionals and developers are intensely logical and intensely rational people. They want to know that a decision has been made for a reason and that it's been thought through. So answer the question why. I can't understate how important this is. If you can tell them why you are doing something and you don't BS and you are authentic about it, they will run through a wall for you. And these are the people that need to carry you forward. So this is your best option. And lastly, you've probably seen this 1,000 times this week and 1,000 times before: fail fast, but learn faster. It's absolutely true. You are going to make mistakes when you move to Azure. We did. We made a ton. We had to learn from them. We had to delete and recreate and redeploy many, many times. But in most cases, we didn't punish or look down on when we had an issue. And in fact, the best example I have is very early in our migration, we moved a very complex Oracle workload from on-premise to the cloud, lifted and shifted it. Not many companies had done it at that time. And when we did it, we were successful. We were able to move this workload, get it completely running with the same level of performance that we had on-premise. But the challenge is we now had a $50,000 a month run rate, far too expensive for us to justify running it in Azure. And our CIO looked at that and actually congratulated the team for the success that they had in getting it to run in the cloud. Nobody had ever done that before. But he followed it up with a challenge. It said, now let's see if we can do it for less than $5,000 per month. Again, a very auspicious goal, and yet 4 weeks later, we had achieved that. And the lessons that we learned from that have applied for the last several years, for example, in how we architect and build our solutions. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Blaine, who's going to talk about some of our process changes.
Thanks, Chris. So, as Chris had talked about, we had got to the point where we actually had a vision now. People understood that vision, and we had prepped our people to be ready to have a major change go on. So the important part that we needed to do now was look at the processes of how we were going to actually achieve some of these cloud goals. And so as we looked, we identified that the most important process that we had was how we were going to get our systems from the hands of our developers to production. And so we needed to speed that up. We had a very long lead time. And so as we looked at that, we looked and saw that we had multiple factors that were holding us back. And so the first problem that we had was a people problem. And it was just a matter of, we had a development group that ground out software like crazy, but wanted to be able to get that to production as fast as possible. And so their goal was they wanted to bring the business value to their users as fast as possible. Now, we have the other team, which was our operations team, which their goal was just to maintain and keep our production systems stable. So their main goal was to keep the business value stable and available to our business users. But that led to this mindset of us versus them. Our development team looked at it as our operations team was a blockade, stopping them from getting from, I built something awesome, to you can actually use it in production. The ops team looked at the development team as a murderous horde of people that wanted to attack their happy systems, and so they didn't want that to go through. And because ops was charged with protecting our production systems, they did all the deploys to production. And so that went fine until we got to the point where it didn't go fine. And when it didn't go fine, what happened was kind of a conversation that went like this. Well, it did work, and so obviously whatever dev did broke it. And dev looked at it and went, well, but it worked in all the other environments before we got to production, and so obviously the code works, it's just a configuration change. It was a big problem for us, because then both teams kind of dug in their heels and went, well, as soon as you can prove to me that you didn't break it, we'll try and fix it. That led to us stopping, full stop, until often we had to have management involved to say, no, come on guys, we need to work together to get there. And so I think the important part was, how do we fix this? And so how we fixed it was to bring those two teams together. We realized that both teams are actually really worried about gaining that production value and holding on to that production value. And so as we brought those teams together, that team was now charged with bringing those features to production as fast as possible and making sure that if and when there was a problem in production, we could fix that as fast as possible. So we had already identified people that had new challenges coming from not being data center people anymore to actually getting that. And so we had people available to bring into our dev teams and be able to create that team. And now we had a team that had both points of view that we could now compromise to try and actually accomplish that set goal. That works pretty well for us, but we still had some more problems. So the second issue that we had was a technology problem. At PCL, previously, we had all of our hardware on-prem. And as we moved through the environments, we had 3 different environments before we hit production. We had a a testing environment, a staging environment, and then we hit production. Now, the problem that we had there was all of these environments ran on different hardware. That was just a product of cost. It didn't make sense for us to be able to have the same scale and size of hardware in test, where we were running it 1 week a month, to production, where it was running full-blown for a company of anywhere from 7,000 to 20,000 people. So that was the first part of that. The second part of the cost was that we also had to take it and we shared the infrastructure between those applications. Now, it doesn't seem like a big deal, except for the point of you now have the chance that when I do a deploy, I'm not going to just take out my app, I'm going to take out everybody's app. Management realized that quite early on in the game. And so what we created a a board. We called it the Change Advisory Board. So we had to have a meeting every time we wanted to release one of these products. And it would be all of the people from all of the products that live in the same environments so that we could talk like that. But again, we had a meeting here where we had some really interesting conversations, because what happened was nobody ever expects there to be a catastrophe. So the conversations went like this. Whoever was bringing the change to the table went, well, here's the change I want to bring. To which the rest of the people at the table went, well, is it going to break anything? And then we responded of course not, it works in all the environments. And so we got out our big rubber stamp and hammered it on there and went, we are awesome, let's go. So it made everybody feel like we were actually getting somewhere and we are under control of all the time, but really nobody knew enough about the other systems to even go, oh, well, what about this or what about that? Because there was no communication between those teams. To make that even better, the upper management of the company decided that they also needed to have approval on this, and then we went, okay, well, now we have an approval, let's have another approval for some reason, rubber stamp that one because they know even less about those products, and we'll continue to move on down that road. So, as we got through all of that, we are now at the point of having more of a process problem here. And a big part of that problem was that the development teams, right at the beginning, decided that we were going to be agile and do sprints. And we looked at that and went, okay, well, what that means is that we are going to bite off a chunk of time, call it a sprint, and we are going to build a whole bunch of features, as many as we can do in that sprint, and then we're going to deliver that. Not realizing that at the point where I build the first feature on the very first day, and then move on down the road, that feature is going to sit for that whole length of time until we get it to production, when really it could actually go to production right now. So we kind of look at the math of that now. And so we had a month of development time. We had a month of meetings. And then because we had all of this done manually, we had to have our people scheduled to do a change window because we were worried about it taking down entire systems. And so we had a change window scheduled for 2 weeks in. So now we're looking at, 6 to 7 weeks before that feature that I developed on the very first day of the sprint could hit production. So we really had to change that. So how did we improve this? Well, we had already built these DevOps teams, and so they were starting to fire and understand each other of how we can actually get there. We convinced the management teams that it's better to be able to release a small feature rather than 1,000 features at a time. Yeah, we had taken all of our code at this point because we were building cloud native, and we had developed the infrastructure that it was going to set on as code so that we could have a consistent environment definition. We had, the price problem went away because now I can spin things up and spin things down as we move along. We also built a continuous integration, continuous deployment pipeline so that when that feature is now delivered, we can actually push it into the production stream and it moves, it's automatically built, automatically deployed. And that deploy ensures that the infrastructure is deployed properly and is configured properly, and then the application is actually pushed. So As now, also as an application is deployed into its environment, it is independent of all the other apps and connected through our integration service that we kind of talked about. So we've removed the possibility of breaking in any other application, and then we have eliminated that need for that CAB meeting because really nobody cared in the first place, and nobody cares now. So now we can deliver a complete feature from dev to prod within a couple of hours, where we were at a month or so before. So that's a big deal for our teams. But we're not done yet. We know that there's further improvements that we can do to get rid of some manual steps. We realize that the QA, there's not enough regression testing yet, and so we still have to have a stop and an approval along the way for our QA teams to actually make sure that we've hit on the head of what we need to do. And then we still have management teams that don't quite trust that product yet, and so they want that final approval of when it goes to production. Okay, so how did this change our teams? I think because this was such a big change in our world, to start off with, we had no idea what this was going to look like as we moved to the cloud. So what happened in the beginning was we created a research team. It had solution architects from both of the development teams and the operations team that was basically given carte blanche to go and learn about things and understand and design how we were going to take our development and our operations and move it from our data center into the cloud. This team was free of any development or support tasks at that point. And so during that time, we started to understand, as Azure matured, of how we were going to actually push and build out really what we had in on-prem and roll that out. And then the goal of that team was not to actually build it so much, but understand. And then if there was any minor tasks that we could handle, we could accomplish it during that time. As we learned more and more, that team disbanded and we kind of went back to different tasks. The developers really didn't change a whole lot. They went back to their teams, and now they were leading and designing on how we could go cloud first with our applications. But the operations people went back to an entirely new team. That team still did some typical IT work, but now we were building and automating more. All of the infrastructure tasks were being automated, and so this was giving time to our guys back to be able to handle more innovation tasks rather than just keeping the lights on. So then to align to the vision that we had built to get us to the cloud, we focused on things. We built this analytics team that we'd never had before at PCL, which was there to give us that ability to make data-driven decisions. Our company does that all the time, but a lot of that is gut feel and then Excel. This team focused on things like the integration as a service, to be able to have integration just as plug and play, as API management, so that our apps could talk to other things if we needed to on a common platform. Construction analytics, where we're measuring all sorts of different variables within our construction world, with looking to move that data into a machine learning model so that we can go forward and build smart construction, smart buildings.
So we changed our people. Well, we recognized that we had to empower our people. We began learning and we changed our processes. But at the beginning, like Blaine talked about, we had an R&D group that did a lot of research and did a lot of planning and broke and learned. And from that, there are a few key areas. This is where we come back to some of the technology pieces that are really critical to take a little bit of time up front, because it will vastly speed up what you can do in the future. The first one is around subscriptions and resource groups. Anybody who's used Azure knows that the subscription is the administrative boundary. And you can have as many as you want, but it's where the security and your costing really rolls up to. And then there's certain technical resources that are also bound to the subscription. So virtual networks is the most obvious one. Now what we started before Azure Resource Manager, and so there were no such things as resource groups, and so we had to create multiple subscriptions just for security barriers and those sorts of stuff. Those limitations don't exist today. So what we learned and what we would do differently now is, instead of the 30 or nearly 30 subscriptions that we have today, we could reduce that down by probably a third. And so my advice to you is there's administrative overhead the more subscriptions you have. In some cases, there's actual cost because of the different resources you have. So try to minimize the number of subscriptions that you use. Look at it and then take advantage of resource groups. So don't have as many subscription admins. Create a resource group, which is your boundary for an application or a deployment, for example, within Azure, and then delegate your security at the resource group. Licensing, this directly affects your cost. Anybody who has MSDN Azure credits, use them. They are free money from Microsoft. Do your dev test by taking advantage of that. If you're an enterprise customer of Microsoft, take advantage of your non-production environments by creating an MSDN subscription. Any IaaS and VMs that you have running will be charged at the Linux price, so you're not getting double dipped on the Windows license. Again, that applies to hybrid use benefit. So again, if you're an EA customer and you have on-premise Windows licenses, use those licenses that are free and not being used as you migrate workloads to cover the Windows cost in Azure. And then lastly, reserved instances. You're going to have some VMs that are running or some compute that's running the better part of the year. For example, domain controllers or perhaps SQL servers are examples. And in our case, prepay for that compute at a vastly discounted price and save money. Again, that goes back to changing your processes. This last one the second last one is on identity, for example, and almost everybody here, I'm going to assume, has on-premise Active Directory. Recognize that when you move to the cloud, you will be hybrid. There is no other two ways about it. And there's two things to look at. If the identity is ever going to be used on-premise, it must be mastered on-prem. But if you have a pure cloud-based application and you have an account that will never be used anywhere but the cloud, don't force yourself to go create it on-prem because it's what you know how to do. I held us back for a long time, and I was helping to lead the charge to Azure because of this very insistence, saying, hey, we had existing procedures for account creation and management and reporting and monitoring and all those sorts of things. Let's use it. Let's take advantage of it. What it did was actually hinder us. The reality is that once you're in Azure AD, you're going to have to create procedures to create and monitor and deal with cloud-based accounts, so do it up front. And finally, naming standards. Not a requirement, but we learned very quickly when we had just 4 people creating resources and services within Azure, it became unwieldy pretty darn quickly. So for example, naming standards, this is our naming standard. It turns out we did this through trial and error, and eventually it's worked out really well for us. It turns out it's very similar to what Microsoft recommends in their best practices. But basically, we created our own acronyms, for example, for region. We created our own acronyms, pretty common here, prod, stage, dev, for our environments. And then we have our app service name. Little pieces of advice here. Names cannot easily be changed, so pick something that is generic but identifiable for what it is. Try to keep it short. The longer it is, you're going to run into resource name limits depending on certain ones. And try not to put like company or product names because they get acquired and changed, and down the road it'll become very confusing for new people who come in and go, we'll see a name, for example, we have an example later on. That won't make sense. And then the real key, resource type, which is our acronym for what the resource type is. And to kind of give you an example of what that looks like, here's a screenshot, for example, from our production tenant showing an auction website. And the important thing to see here, this is a resource group, and everything has a consistent name. Everything is named appropriately, and then we can identify each of the items in there by the resource type at the end. It's very clean and it's very intuitive. So for example, most people can even guess a resource name with the way we've named things. Lastly, we get into the big one, which is controlling costs. And this comes down to, a lot of it comes down to changing your operations. And so the very first thing that I would say is we have to change our mindset. You have to change your mindset. If you try to shoehorn what you do on-premise into the Azure environment, I will guarantee you 100% you will pay more money than you need to. And more often than not, you will not be able to take advantage of things like the scale and the right size that Azure offers. And you can give an example of the scale and right sizing that we do, for example.
So typically when we would build out in the data center, we were always building out bigger and bigger virtual hosts. And because of the way that the procurement was there and the time that it took to put that stuff into the data center, we always oversized all the time. And so in Azure, I think the important thing to notice is that because I have that ability to scale at whim on most all of the resources, is that start as small as you can go and then listen to the application with the telemetry to say, okay, I know that I need to be able to scale this up when this happens and scale it down when this happens. I think that's the important part.
Absolutely. You can't do any of that unless you measure it, though. And so the easiest way to measure is to monitor your costs. And Microsoft has made this far easier than it was in the earlier days. The portal has your costs in it. If you're an enterprise customer, you've probably seen this. This is the enterprise portal for your costing. I've blurred out all of ours, so it's not particularly informative. But if you take advantage of things like setting up your departments and subscriptions correctly, this can be totally adequate for your needs. The other benefit they have is there's a very extensible API. So, of course, Microsoft has some Power BI add-ins, or there's some third-party services that can present your costing data. For us, what was important, we started early. So a lot of the customizations available in this portal weren't available to us. But more importantly, we wanted to be able to represent and report the cost against our own accounting codes. So we had account codes, and really we call them business units that align up with our current budgeting process. And we do that by tagging resources or tagging resource groups. Because everything we do is automated, we do not do manual deploys into Azure. We do it in code with PowerShell and with VSTS. We tag automatically as part of the deployment. And so that gentleman that I said was our facilities guy and data center guru, he's now my Power BI guy. And so this is the dashboard that I use. This is PCL's Power BI dashboard for our enterprise agreement. And it includes handy little things, for example, like this Azure spend forecast that gives me a bit of a trend analysis, for example. This is my summary page that gives me a high-level overview. All of these examples here are for year to date, for example, of where our different costs are. I can see against our PCL's different business units where most of our costs are going, what our month-over-month spend. Not surprisingly, the most expensive thing in Azure is compute, so the virtual machines, the things that we've lifted and shifted and have not yet been able to retrofit and build onto a PaaS platform is where the bulk of our money is going. This particular slide is the breakdown of the business units. This one breaks down business unit 19, and when I talked about naming standards, names are one of the few things you can't change in Azure. This is an example. So this is the business unit for CraftStream. It's the application we use to manage our craft workers. You'll notice the largest resource group there is called PCL Prod Artisan, not CraftStream. That is because that was the code name for that particular application. We created it at the very beginning of the project. It was then officially named CraftStream. We can't change it. And at that time was already in production, didn't want to bother. Very confusing for other people. So again, be consistent with your names. And then lastly, just another example where I break down our SQL costs, for example, and be able to get a quick overview. You know, for me as a manager, these dashboards, I'm in them weekly, really valuable. This is all coming from the Azure EA API. So to wrap up, you know, this is really about people and process and changing your operations. There's a few technology pieces you've really got to focus on with respect to subscriptions and your naming standards and your identity. But at the end of the day, it's about empowering your people because they know your business best. They are already amenable to change. You just need to put them in a position to do it.
So what does that mean for us in the future? Just for journey to the cloud for us has been really, really empowering for our teams. You know, we rediscovered that as IT people, we really do like to learn things all the time. We've shown upper management teams that it's okay to take those risks and not be afraid to fail. Operations teams have shifted their thinking so that we're automating things, and that's our first choice now.
If you do it twice, automate it.
That's right. Our development teams are able to push things faster than we've ever believed, and we're going to be to minutes, probably within the next year. And this ability to be able to spin up and spin down has been such an amazing journey for us. We can do anything. Now we're going to take that and be able to put thousands and thousands and thousands of sensors all over our construction site so that we can learn how to do construction better. It's going to be able to make us the most valuable construction company in the world.
So I want to thank you guys for your time. Appreciate you guys showing up. And if you guys have any questions, we're more than happy to talk about what we've done or any other challenges that we've had. So thank you.